Hi. So I am currently 5 weeks and 1 day pregnant. I just thought I'd do little random updates so I can put them all in a video um, at the end of my first trimester. So yeah, 5 weeks, 1 day pregnant. I have known that I am pregnant for a week and a half. I was like 3.5 weeks when I found out because I was tracking my ovulation and we were actively trying to conceive. So I took a pregnancy test as early as I possibly could. So far, I've got no pregnancy symptoms apart from tiredness, which isn't even like all the time. It's just at certain times I'm feeling extra tired. I did have some cramping around implantation time, um, but apart from that, nothing else yet. Touch wood. In my first pregnancy, I had awful morning sickness, so I am expecting that, and I'm currently actively trying already to do things that could fight morning sickness off. Like I'm already eating little and often, and trying to eat as healthy as possible as well. Yeah, I'm trying to keep exercising as well. Yeah, nothing else to report yet. And so far, nobody knows, apart from my best friend. Um, and I think my husband's best friend and my dance teacher, because exercise and safety. Um, I did just realize though, my sense of smell is completely heightened. So that is one symptom that I just forgot to mention. So, heightened smell, a little bit of tiredness, and I did have some cramping at implantation. Apart from that, that's it. No morning sickness yet. Um, yeah. I'll be back with another update soon. Morning sickness has hit. I am 6 weeks, 2 days.
That's only Goofy.
Is that only Goofy?
Let's
She's watching Mickey Mouse. Morning sickness hit around 5.5 weeks. It's not that bad right now though. So touch wood, it's not as bad as I experienced with Ada yet. And I am doing everything to kind of keep it that way. Snacking, eating little and often, ginger tea, and so far it's yeah. Yeah, it's not too bad yet. But I mean morning sickness sucks. That nauseous feeling, even if you haven't thrown up, which I haven't yet. Yeah. Boobs also super sore. I forgot to mention that as well. That was one of my first signs of pregnancy. My boobs got sore at like, I think it was like 5 days past ovulation. And they've been sore since. And then this week they've gotten even more sore. So like I can't sleep on my stomach anymore. Which is probably good going forward because once I get to like the second trimester, you can't do that anyway. So, yeah. Tiredness as well. I'm just tired. But so far, I'm feeling really well, especially when I compare to my first pregnancy. I'm feeling really well considering. So while I'm saying all these symptoms, they are really mild at the moment. I'm just kind of keeping a log of any symptoms, no matter how mild or extreme they are. So yeah. Also, I have done my maternity services referral form, so hopefully a midwife will be getting in contact soon to organise my first midwife appointment, which is really exciting. I'm much more prepared. I thought I was really prepared last time around, but I knew the theory, I didn't know in practice, whereas I've been through pregnancy and birth once before now, so I have a lot more in my head of what I want this time around in actual practice, rather than just the theory. I mean, for my first birth, if you know me, I had read every pregnancy and baby book under the sun prior to even getting pregnant with my first child. I started reading pregnancy and baby books when I was a teenager because I always knew I wanted to be a mum and I loved reading about it. And I didn't end up having my first child until 27 years old. So I'd read a lot of books in that time. I had bought a lot of books. Like my bookshelf was filled with pregnancy and baby books, and my now husband was like, crazy. Yeah. So I knew a lot in theory, is what I mean. And I knew a lot of the science behind pregnancy, labor, birth, but having not experienced it in practice, it was completely different. This time around, I feel a lot more prepared and a lot more secure, and I have a lot more thoughts in my head of how I want things. So yeah, in saying all that, I'm just excited to start discussing all those things that I have in mind for this pregnancy and this birth. It's exciting to start talking that over and putting plans in place, I guess. Yeah. All right. Next update soon. Hi. So sorry, it's been a little while since my last update. I am currently 9 weeks and 5 days pregnant, I believe. Still haven't had my first midwife appointment yet. I have it this Friday, when I will be 10 weeks and 2 days. So I'm looking forward to that. I haven't done any updates for the last few weeks because over 3 weeks ago now, I got a cold flu thing. Our whole family got it actually. It wasn't COVID, but it was like one of those bad cold flu bugs that's been going around like crazy here in the UK right now. I don't know, but it knocked me out. It knocked all of us out. But unfortunately, what it did do was I appear to have long COVID. So I had COVID back in February 2021, and ever since then, every time I get a cold or flu, like even like the smallest cold, I end up with a cough for weeks, lingering, and it's bad and it's painful and it's like, as my husband says, it sounds violent. And so that's what I had with this thing, and also just the cold itself. Like I still have a little bit of a runny nose, and it's been over 3 weeks. I'm still coughing so much, but what happens when I get these colds and flus is I get into like coughing fits, and coupled with the morning sickness, nausea, what was happening was cough, 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 gag. And so it's been over 3 weeks now of my morning sickness being severely ramped up by coughing fits, which hasn't been great. Food aversions have been high. I have barely wanted to eat, but I've had to force myself to eat because I know if I don't eat, then my morning sickness is worse. Like my nausea gets worse if I don't eat. So it's basically been a few weeks of me forcing myself to eat when I don't feel like eating, when I feel nauseous, when I feel averse to everything. I think I've also started to have my first pregnancy craving. Um, it happened yesterday, and it was weird because it was like I literally couldn't think of anything else. And that's never happened before. In my first pregnancy, I only had food aversions, and then I had like a I'd call it like a safe food that felt like it was the only thing I could eat, which was like packet noodles, like instant noodles. That was in my first pregnancy. This pregnancy, though, I've been averse to almost everything. But yesterday, oh my god, uh, I wanted a cheeseburger, um, really, really bad. And I'm vegan. I wasn't even thinking of like meat cheeseburgers. I was thinking of like McDonald's have the McPlant, um, and that's all I could think of. Um, I didn't get it. I was just at home. I was feeling quite poorly, so I was just at home, laying on the sofa and trying to nap. And I said to my husband, like, I literally am closing my eyes and I can just see a cheeseburger in my head. And I just couldn't think of anything else. And he was like, "Do you want me to order one?" And I'm like, "No, I need to eat healthy. Like, I don't like. I'll try and hold off as long as I can." Um, but that was the most intense, like, kind of craving feeling I've ever felt. I never had that in Ada's pregnancy. Um, and that's only happened the once, so we'll see if that happens again. So I'll be 10 weeks on Wednesday. It's Monday now. And we still haven't really told anyone. Our families don't know yet. I think we're going to be telling my husband's family this weekend because we're hopefully going up north to see them this weekend. And then after that, I'll probably tell my mum and dad. I'm looking forward to my midwife appointment this Friday. There's some things I just want to talk to my midwife about, kind of like my pregnancy plan, and if I get the chance to start talking about birth preferences. We haven't told our daughter yet either, so she's 3.5, and we still haven't told her purely because we think visually, like I have like the tiniest little like bloating bump. But I don't have like a bump yet for her to kind of comprehend in her head. If I tell her, there's a baby in mummy's belly, she's gonna look at my belly and be like, really? And also the excitement of learning that she's going to be a big sister. I know that a lot of people say don't tell them too early on because then the excitement wears off before the baby arrives. But we will probably tell her around the time that we publicly announce that we're pregnant. I think she's going to be a good big sister though. She's very much in her baby doll stage right now and looking after her baby, and it's kind of come on randomly. So firstly, I apologize for the delayed update. I am technically not in my first trimester anymore. I am 13 weeks and 5 days, no, 4 days pregnant. 13 weeks and 4 days pregnant. And yeah, so I'm technically now out of my first trimester, so this will be the last update for my first trimester vlog or video diary. I had my first midwife appointment, gosh, weeks ago now, and I don't think I've updated you since then. So I was 10 weeks then, and it was my first midwife appointment for this pregnancy. And it was absolutely brilliant. It was so reassuring, so wonderfully supportive. The midwife was really happy with how things are going, really happy with the thoughts that I've already put into my pregnancy and how I want my pregnancy and birth to go, fully supportive of all the plans that I've kind of had the idea that I want to go with. I told her about my wish, my desire to have a home birth with this pregnancy, and she was fully in support of that. She said, looking at all my stuff, granted there are no other issues further down the line, I'm a perfect candidate for it, and that she'd be recommending me for it. And she said she couldn't be more supportive. She was brilliant, and it was just a really wonderful appointment. Like, I left there feeling really great, like really, really great. So that was lovely. The midwife's name was Louise, so if you're watching this, Louise, thank you for being so wonderful. So last weekend we then had our dating scan, our 12-week roughly scan, and it was brilliant. It was so wonderful. I had barely slept the night before. I don't know why, and I don't remember being this nervous with Ada, with my daughter, but for some reason I just couldn't sleep, and I just had it in my head that something was wrong and that we were going to turn up to the appointment and, see something heartbreaking on the screen. So I just couldn't get that out of my mind. I was so nervous, like I was almost shaking by the time we got in there. And then the first thing we see when the sonographer put ultrasound wand on my belly was baby jumping about. And I was like, oh, is that moving, or is that the video doing that? And she's like, oh no, baby's moving around, jumping about there. And baby continued to move a lot during the whole thing. Heart rate was great, baby looked really well formed. And they changed my dates that they had. So my due date, they changed from what they had recorded down, because the NHS do it from last menstrual period until they get to the dating scan, and then they change it based on that. I already had a due date in my head that was already different from what the NHS had predicted from my last menstrual period, because I'd been tracking my ovulation, so I knew more in alignment where I was at, and this kind of confirmed that. So that's cool. Cool to kind of validate that I knew what was going on with my body as well. But it was just so surreal to see baby up there, and it was really interesting because while we were watching, I just had this overwhelming feeling because of a few things, and I've looked into a fair bit of like baby scans and like the ways you can tell gender even very early on. And with our first, we didn't find out the gender. It wasn't even a thing in our mind. It wasn't even a consideration. We wanted it to be a surprise. Um, but this time around, both me and my husband's thoughts on that are very different. And I don't know why, but watching the scan, I just have an overwhelming thing in my head that well, I don't know if it's just a gut feeling or a completely wrong sense or just a wish in my head, but I kind of think I know what baby might be. Um, and obviously gender is it's not gender, is it? It's sex. So it's the sex that the baby is born as. They may grow up to be, trans or non-binary, and that is completely okay with us as well. But I don't know, there's always that bit of excitement as well when you're an expecting parent over gender. It's just exciting to know who this a little bit more about this little human you're going to be raising. But yeah, I think I might know. But now I have to wait until the 20-week scan, and I think it's pretty much 100% confirmed that me and my husband are definitely going to find out this time around. But yeah, it's so funny though because like I said, I didn't even care during my first pregnancy. Like, it wasn't even consideration. And now I'm like dying to know. I don't know where this desperation has come from, but anyway, I think I might know. And it's what I've been thinking all along, just a gut feeling. I'm obviously not going to say it. It'll be interesting to find out if I'm correct. Anyway, yeah, I am feeling so much better now that I'm at the end of or past my first trimester. So during week 12, or sorry, week 13, so when I was 12 weeks, the nausea started to die down. My energy started to come back more. But in saying that, yeah, I had nausea and a little bit of morning sickness, and I had, some general tiredness. But really, overall, my first trimester was really quite smooth. Um, Especially when I look to my last pregnancy, I definitely had a lot more sickness and I felt a lot more rough in Ada's pregnancy than I have in this one. I'm feeling really well, feeling really, really well now that I'm in my second trimester. Been able to regularly get back to my dance classes again because I'd kind of been very sketchy with them during my first trimester just because I wasn't feeling great. But now I've been able to regularly go back, and we're going on holiday next week, which I'm so excited for. It's going to be wonderful. We told Ada as well. We told our daughter, our 3.5-year-old, that she was going to be a big sister, and she was so excited. She instantly put a doll up her shirt when we explained, what was going to happen. We bought her this book that kind of explained what's going on. And yeah, she put her baby doll up her shirt and pretended that she had a baby in her belly like mummy. And then she's been like talking to my belly and like wanting to see my belly and touch my belly, and she keeps asking, "Hello, is anyone in there?" And then goes, "Oh, I think they're sleeping." She's given me a few kisses on the belly, which is like just so cute. And yeah, just overall, it was really sweet. Yeah, she's very excited, and I think she's going to be a wonderful big sister. We've also told all of our family now, and we also then announced it publicly, so everyone knows now, and we're just all really excited. I'm looking forward to this second trimester though, especially with more energy and feeling well. Yeah, everything's great. All right, I'll see you in my second trimester video diary.